finally had to break down and put it in four-wheel drive.
W0JPR. Thinking, Kenneth, since you're back there and I'm up here with ham radios, we can keep the group tied together a little bit if we need to.
Copy that. Yeah, if we start seeing things get spread out or hearing comms issues, K7 KAF. So, Lost World. This is an inaugural run for this trail at Easter Jeep Safari. I'm on this trip, so is Roy. So this is a trail that's kind of replaced Crystal Geyser in the lineup for Easter Jeep Safari. It's a 3-rated trail. Probably going to cover a lot of the same ground, I expect, that Crystal Geyser did. It sounds like at least the main obstacle that was part of the Crystal Geyser trip. I am number 16 in line. Roy is number 4.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll do what we can to try to shoot each other as appropriate throughout the trail. And with the GPS track, we should be in a good place to look at what this is for the future, for folks that are interested in coming out and seeing this trail again.
Red four-door Wrangler from Colorado. I've been coming out here 10 years. I've been a trail helper leader for the last 3. Keeps getting better every time I come out here. We're going to be passing Topeka Well now. You can see this windmill, and if we had time, or if you would like to come out again and actually take a look at the well itself, it's a little bit off the trail, but it's quite easily visible. It's a stone circular, semicircular apparatus. Big gunner passing the well. Leader is veering to the left. Leader is making a left turn. Big gunner making the turn. These turns are onto roads that may not look like the trail, so if you notice that we're getting spaced out, please holler out so that we can slow down and make sure that we keep everybody in the group. Trail gunners, basic turn. Where the leader is, just to the right of us, is Tombstone Rock, which we will see a number of times today from various angles. And next to it is Rainbow Terrace, which is an excellent area to hike on.
Off in the distance there, you can see Tombstone Rock, and the person laying on the ground, I believe, is supposed to be Frankenstein. Yeah, that is Tombstone Rock in the distance. Getting a little closer out here to Tombstone Rock. Better and better view all the time. We are seeing a fair amount of make this turn, make that turn as we're going through this. Tail gunner and trail leader doing a pretty decent job of communicating back and forth. So we just made a turn around the base of Tombstone Butte, following the signs towards Secret Spire. Also getting an idea of kind of where we are at relative to everything else as we work through this. This is that area that is sort of northwest of Moab proper, which has had so many closures and you know, a lot of restrictions added to
right
it.
in front of us is a butte, and the name of that butte is Lost World Butte, hence the name of this trail.
Section in through here that's got a little bit more technical challenge to it. Some ups and downs and a little bit of a step. They had to break down and put it in four-wheel drive.
So we're coming up to the obstacle for the day. It's kind of a two-tier thing where there's a little bit of a sand dome at the bottom and then a big step that we've filled in at the top. I'm going to get out and I want to watch as many people as I can. I want you to give the Jeep in front of you opportunity to go up before you start your approach so that we don't have anybody that's rolling backward into the Jeep behind them.
Is going up the obstacle now. I'm still a quarter-mile away. Looks like that was the line.
That's the line. It's to the right of the groove. Yeah.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
forward. 'Cause we got to make room.
Okay.
I'll spot here.
So we're resuming down the trail, following the obstacle. Roy kind of fell into his tail gunner mode of operation and jumped in and started spotting everybody up the trail. Not a bad thing at all. So far, a lot of this is looking like a lot like our Crystal Geyser trip in the past, where that was the main obstacle of the trip, that we would get up and kind of climb up, everybody up over that, and then from there we would kind of mosey our way up to the geyser. It'll be a little bit different trip today, because we're not headed for the geyser, but that is the idea. And where this was, again, kind of a replacement trail for Crystal Geyser, it makes sense to try to reuse a good chunk of the routes that were permitted for the event. Buttes, one that is Rainbow Terrace, and the other is the backside of Lost World Butte.
Thank you for keeping us informed. Happy to. Trigger is making the second left.
Actually starting to see some sunshine, some blue sky.
The birds love them. In the summertime, however, the juice in the berries will ferment because of our high temperatures. And when the birds eat them, they get a little woozy and a little drunk, and they fly oddly, etc. Those aren't sick birds. They're just birds that are a little inebriated. We have pinyon trees, juniper trees. Most of the trees that you see out here are junipers. Junipers are extremely smart. If the resources are limited, they will actually allow part of the tree to die to save the main part of the tree. So frequently you'll see a juniper tree where part of it looks totally dead and the other part looks as alive as it can be. That is their natural survival instinct.
So the first part of that was talking about the fact that the junipers put on berries.
And off to the side you'll see a plant that has very long, thin, green spindles. That is Mormon tea. You can actually make a tea out of it. It is extremely bitter. I would not recommend it. But it is a beautiful green color, adds a green color to the desert.
Kind of a nice view here of all the Jeeps and a little bit of distance we're about 14 in this line of 24. So.
Off to the left, if you take a look, you'll see a little wooden shack. That's a cowboy shack. You've seen cattle out here. You've seen the gates. There's a lot of free range out here, and the cowboys actually come out and round these cattle up periodically. Typically in the spring, they move them to the lower ground, and in the fall, they move them up into the LaSalle. Sorry, I had that backwards. In the spring, they go up into the LaSalles. In the winter, they come down from the LaSalles to here.
It would be sort of interesting to do a side-by-side of the GoPro footage and the Wolfbox footage in through a section like this, or maybe, you know, the couple little obstacles. Kind of show the difference.
Ask and ye shall receive. But it should be noted that Kenneth's front camera is still a little wonky. It's been upside down in the past, and now it seems like it's flipped left or right. So that's why it looks like it arcs in a different direction.
Two cameras, as well as the image stabilization that happens with the GoPro.
It should also be noted that Penny's is a little bit older, but I think it's also a little bit better. It's been way more consistent than this I05. We've had firmware issues, camera orientation issues, just all sorts of issues with this one. We're just not sure it's working out. A second look at a flipped Wolfbox I05 versus a GoPro Hero 9.
To my snacks, or they try to migrate to the footwell. Don't want that. It makes it much harder to eat the snacks later. And you know I'm all about my snacks. Coming up on an obstacle that our trail leader described as a mini Hell's Gate. There's apparently a couple of steps down at the bottom, but otherwise much like the Hell's Gate climb. Not quite as long, not quite as narrow, but otherwise supposed to be very similar.
Another Wolfbox I05 versus GoPro Hero 9 comparison. And the biggest difference you're going to see here, okay, besides the fact that they're still flipped, the Wolfbox anyway, is the mounting point. The Wolfbox is actually out on his grill. The GoPro is mounted on his dash going through the windshield. So definitely a difference in perspective when it comes from the mounting point. So if you're considering cameras, this is something to consider.
certainly has this feel of, are you sure?
Not rocky at all.
One, but there's several out here. And of course there was sheep herding out here in the west also. And
So that was Russ, our trail leader, explaining the sheep herders monument that where we stopped. I did get a couple of photos of it. He was saying that they have not been able to find any historical documentation on those. They were, he believes, built as a point of reference by sheep herders. But there are apparently several of them out here, but no historical documentation to say who built them or really what they were for. They are known locally as the sheep herders monuments. They picked that particular location because it is on state of Utah school and institutional trust lands administration rather than on BLM. So that allowed our sponsor for the trail to do their giveaways not on BLM land and roughly in the middle of the trail. This was overseen, our trail leader today is the land use chairman for Red Rocks four-wheelers, so you know, he's very much aware of when we're on BLM property and when we're on somebody else's.
The part Kenneth missed there was that the permit for Easter Jeep Safari from BLM does not allow for vendors to conduct their giveaways as they used to do. So that's why they were searching for a non-BLM piece of land for that particular giveaway.
Okay, so as we're going to come around a corner here, we're going to have a good view of Tombstone Rock and Frankenstein, who is laying with his feet to the tombstone. And if you look at it, he's got kind of a pot belly. As you can see, his feet towards the tombstone, his head in the other direction. Kind of use your imagination a little bit. You see it? You see Frankenstein, his head head away from the tombstone at his feet. All right, closing out the Lost World trip. Came back to the same little lookout here where we started at the beginning of the day. Aired up. Everybody had a good time. Everybody had good fun. Overall trip was a little over 6 hours and about 47 miles on the dirt. So nice trip for the day as we've done our different things. It's been a lot of fun. And if you've been watching this video, I'm going to say thank you for watching, and come give this trail a try yourself. Bye-bye.